Hello, hello, and welcome back to yon April Fool's map. Last time was ages ago because of illness and stuff. So last time was over a month ago, in fact, which I did not anticipate. Is not great because maybe I've forgotten some more things since then. What am I doing? Last time we did 4 areas, I remember that much. We got up to this area. We have many levels. What have I got on me? Alright, I got the infinity bow. Well, I don't need that many arrows on me then, do I? A couple more things about the previous area that I forgot when I was going over it before. I think we're fine on everything else here. A couple of those as well, maybe. Maybe grab one of these. This is fine. A couple of things that I forgot to mention last time when I was talking about the area over here. The way the jump panels work is... So you've got those computery head things over there, but they aren't themselves actually doing anything. They're just decorative markers. It's actually some invisible armor stand markers where the particles are coming from, and when you're in a little radius around them, that's what gives you the jump boost. The other thing is, you may have noticed that there is only one glass bridge in the area, which is a little bit out of place because it's the only glass bridge around. Originally, there were a lot more glass bridges, and I had some glass stairs as well, and about halfway through constructing all of them, I realised that the area would look a lot cleaner and play a lot more distinctly if I just used the jump boost things. So I ripped all of the glass bridges back out again, apart from that one there. That's the only one that remains. Another thing that I thought of to speak about is these, which work in the same way as the you get close to them, they give you jump boost armor stands. These are just invisible armor stands with names. That's how those show up. The ones over in that area have a tag. That's why you get close to those, then give you a jump boost, and if I get close to this, it does nothing. That's how you tell between one and the other. And so, I couldn't actually do this when I was making the map, because the map is for 1.19.3. But now in 1.19.4 we have a thing called text display. And it essentially allows you to do this, but with even more customization. You can have it only showing up from one direction, you can change the color of the background, you can make the text much larger or smaller, and text displays do not count as entities for the purpose of entity counts and lag production and that kind of thing. So, that was not an option when I was making this map, because 1.19.3 only introduced in 1.19.4, but now a text display is a much better way of doing what I've done there. Bippity bobbity boo. There's not too much to talk about in this area. This is our pretty straightforward, obligatory BSM bridge area of the map. So, one thing that you probably didn't notice is that this is a 6x6 grid of towers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the other direction, and you enter from the bottom left corner and you travel towards the top right, which is exactly the same as the second area in the Library of Babel map. Apart from that area was puzzle-based, and kind of used a signboard, the witness style puzzle. This area has no such puzzle. But in terms of layout, it's very, very similar. It wasn't even really an intentional thing that I did consciously. Just subconsciously built the same area that I'd already made before, but in slightly smaller scale, and without a puzzle. So there you go. Some potions in here. Do in this area is you can open up some trapdoors and try and lure mobs into falling into them. When Comp was playtesting this map for me, he did a lot of that. But it isn't really a necessary thing to do at all, it's just a trick that you could use. Upgrade shards, break that, there goes the pick. Trick you into breaking the spawner. Let's back up a little bit further. Maybe open a couple of those. There we go. Spleefed one. It's the next area, down there. And here we have some shattering axes. Not the first example of an item builder item map, but one of the first. As the pulling it back doesn't affect movement speed bow in the bottom of the second area. That's probably a harder thing to get to. A more uncommon thing to find, so this might well be the player's first item builder item that they find. Got a bit of scaffolding. So just bridging across the tops of these is a pretty common trick from what I've seen. Again, really isn't necessary to do that though. Some torch making material. Not much reason other than I didn't know what else to put in that chest. Don't really need that many torches in this map. Need. And pool number 5. I'm just going to keep heading directly onward though to area number 6. There's not that much loot in this area. And 6 branches directly off of this one, so if I headed back, I just have to head all the way back here again. Shattering axes have a chance to struck mobs of their armor and equipment. I do not remember the exact percentage values because I made this item originally over a year ago. Because it also appeared in the bridge map from the last April Fool's map. But I believe it's something like 25% per piece of armor and then 10% per main hand / offhand. And if it triggers, then that piece of equipment is just gone. That's the wool. I need the concrete powder. I don't need the bowl. Right. This area, we have some of these. They originally spawn on endermites, so that they're a bit quicker, and then you get close, the endermite vanishes, and then they slow down to a complete crawl. Maybe a mob idea that was good on paper, but in practice, they're way too slow when the endermite actually leaves, and they don't really do a whole lot of anything. If they do actually hit you, they do quite a bit of damage, but they really shouldn't hit you. Some of that. Got the instantly detonating potion creepers. They have a lowered blast radius, but seeing as the ground is snow, which is very, very non-explosion proof, they still break a few blocks anyway. And then we have these, which are actually by far the trickiest mobs of the area. So again, kind of keeping the theme of the slow-moving zombies, these don't move at all. They're entirely stationary, so you could just plop down a couple of blocks in front of you and stop them hitting you at all, if you needed to do that. Got a few spiders thrown in for good measure. I think a couple of people expected this little ridgy section to be trapped, which is precisely why it is not trapped. So I kind of figured it would be very obvious if I put powder snow right there. And thus I didn't. There are a couple of powder snow traps in the area though. Which, in retrospect, was not the greatest idea. Or it would have been a good idea if this area was a little bit further on in the map. But as it is, you're going to be entering this area with leather boots. So it doesn't really work. Because you don't fall through powder snow if you have leather boots. It would have made more sense to put this area maybe later in the map. And then I could have used powder snow more properly, and the player would have been more likely to be wearing iron, chain, or gold or something. And then the powder snow traps would work. But as it is, they're really pretty ineffective. So, KVT still did manage to run into one in his speedrun. Somehow. So they're not entirely useless. This may be one of my least favourite areas in the map. At least the area proper. This area also branches off into not one but two interesting side things. The area itself is fairly boring. Also pretty linear. Piece of the ledge. Here's snow trap number 1. There's nothing at the bottom. It's just a block of powder snow. I'll get back to you in a second. Because this is a shortcut. The ladder's out of there. Block straight up. Whoop. Whoops. Get rid of that. And we are conveniently right back near the monument. Lovely. I'm going to put a few torches there so I remember exactly where this is. And this is a shortcut. Mostly, well, two reasons. One, because it connects up to the casino, which is right here, and also because the way you get into this area is via a big drop onto slime blocks, and I don't want to force the player to climb back out of that. So, that's the other reason. But yeah, it just made sense to put the casino here, because it's the way to connect it to, and a shortcut which makes sense anyway, it's near the monument, etc, etc. Casino! You can buy casino chips. There are also some of them just out in the world. We've already found a couple of them, I am pretty positive. We also have a giant map that shows most of the areas, barring the final one, which is off down here. And another one, which is kind of off over here-ish, but it's under the ground anyway, so not gonna see anything there. No real reason why this map's here, other than I like maps. Here's the casino. We need a slot machine. I can push the button, and there's a bit of a mechanism that happens, which is there for a couple of reasons. First, it lets you know that something's actually happening. And second, you'll see that if I push the button, and I then push the button again too quickly, it's not going to reactivate the machine again. So if you accidentally spam double-click and you have casino chips, you won't use both of them, and then you'll miss one thing from the chest. So this mechanism itself doesn't do anything, though. It's just to stop that. And then the actual magic happens somewhere completely different. With these command blocks, just place a redstone block way down in a dev room. And then the block gets deleted and other such stuff happens way the way down there. So if you took this apart, it's not going to do anything but disable the mechanism that stops you double-clicking. So there is that. I don't need that. We have an unbreakable efficiency 2 wooden pick. We also have one of the 2 bonus objectives in the map is here. Each successful casino roll will give you one of these. And you need 18 of them to get one of the bonus objectives, which encourages the player to go around and find all the casino chips. There are over 18 of them in the map. And as you saw, the trader also has trades to buy more, so it's definitely very feasible to get that 18, but you will need to look around, find things. Boom, kaboom. Got most of these guys fighting one another. Convenient. I forget what's on the potions they drop, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be slowness. They also shoot slowness, because they're strays, it's what they do. this whole mob carrying another mob where the bottom mob dies when it gets close to you trick is reused a couple of other times in this map. But in ways that are significantly more dangerous than this one. Like with the, you get close to it and it gives you jump boost to invisible armor stones, so all just via the use of a tag. I think I called it carrier. And when any mobs with that tag get close to the player, they die. Very simple. This spawner and this chest are here to make the player run directly forward from over here. You go, aha, there's a chest, and there's also things spawning. Let's get it over there quickly and fall into this powder snow trap. Which doesn't actually happen because the player's probably got the leather boots on. But that was the thought process, at least. And over here we have some of the best bows in the map that also appear in a couple of other areas, because I want the player to have them, because they're really nice. Anything that has a bow, which is going to be a skeleton, or with a skeleton, you hit it, and it loses the bow. It's really nice. I think they are slays. Slays? Strays. And I gave them slowness arrows anyway, because I forgot or something. I don't remember. Anyway, this one's different from the other powder snow trap, because it's not actually just a big block of powder snow. There are creepers down there. Though, it's the potion creepers. So, they are less likely than regular creepers to kill you anyway. Gotta get past the lava. So I can go around the side a bit, because it's quicker than going straight through the middle. Green wool. These, two of those, and drop these, I guess. Do I have a single block of packed mud? Really not helpful. Okay, the other thing in this area is over there. Actually managed to hit me. 7 damage. Upgrade shard, potion, more random loot. We have this, which would probably blend in a bit better if there wasn't also a light block kind of pointing you in this direction. Light block helps you find this. Got more light blocks in this corridor. And in here we have a casino chip. Conveniently placed, so when you go back and up the shorter, you pass directly by the casino. How very convenient. And here we have the puzzle. And here we have the lighting bug. That chest has a very nice chest plate in it. It's the best chest plate in the map. It's a netherite chest plate. We have a button. It doesn't open. We have grids. We have a grid of blocks. We have lights on the floor. And do we have a chest that's full of cyan concrete called tower segment? What to do? There's a couple of ways of figuring this out, though probably not enough in retrospect. First way is just to know what kind of puzzle type this is. It's possible. It's not one of the rarest puzzle types in the world. It's in some papers and stuff. The second type is to Google tower puzzle. That'll tell you what puzzle type this is. It's called a tower puzzle or a skyscraper puzzle. And I'm mentioning tower there, and I'm mentioning tower here, so I'm kind of hoping that maybe people will Google if they don't know what this is, and you might even find the exact site that I used to generate this puzzle in that way. And you get the rules like that. The other way is that a thing that looks extremely, extremely similar and is laid out just like this, with the same light patterns, is a puzzle of this type also appears in Monumental Light Blue. In the unlock quest for that, there's this exact type of puzzle, which even looks the same, with lapis blocks as place points, and lamps indicating the numbers. So, if you played Monumenta and you know that quest, you probably recognize this straight away. What I probably should have done to make it even more obvious, and would have also been nice for the accreditation, is to put a couple of signs somewhere saying, I used this website to generate this puzzle. And then, well, it's kind of like the Google it approach, but more overt. You can just go to the website and look at the rules that way as well. So, what are the rules? You need one tower in each block. Each tower must be from 1 to 5 blocks tall, so I can make them all height 1 anyway. That's also kind of hinted at in the way the blocks were originally laid out in the chest. There are 5 sets, from 1 to 5 of them. And each of these indicates how many towers that you can see if you look from this direction. If that is 1 and that is 2, then I can see 2 towers. And I can't see these because they're all being blocked by the higher tower of height 2 before all of them. I also had to modify, random aside, I had to modify simple blocks to get this to work, to make cyan concrete actually drop cyan concrete, because all the other types of concrete in the map drop their powder variants when you break them. I explicitly told simple blocks not to do that for cyan concrete, so that the cyan concrete actually drops cyan concrete. So this tower has to be height 5, because this is 1. And if the tower 5 was anywhere else in this column, then you'll be able to see it back there, so it's got to be here. Same for that. Same for that. Same for that, and then we can work out the final tower of height 5 by the Sudoku method of, well, it's got to be here. Because I can only have 1 5 in each row and each column, and this is the only row and the only column that does not already have a tower of height 5, so it must be here. It goes on like that. That's the easy bit. I could logic the rest of this out. I have already logicked the rest of it out. I didn't just blindly trust the generator to give me the correct solution. It did, and it's what I used to make this, but I then solved it myself manually and got the expected solution. So, check there. And I still have the expected solution on a little scrap of paper in front of me that I've had waiting for this very moment. So I can just very quickly solve this. You already saw that button back there does nothing when I do not have the correct solution. Another thing that I might have done, if this was in a less low effort map, where am I? No, I did get that the right way around originally. 4312. Another thing that I might have done is got the button to highlight when you got each row and column correct. That would have been useful. Would have taken a whole lot more effort to program, though. And so I did not. If and when I do another puzzle like this again, I might do that. Too, and that's all the blocks I have. And now when I push the button, get an extra little sound effect. In a moment, this particle wall will vanish, and we can go through. We have, back here, the command blocks, which do all of this magic. It's really pretty straightforward. The solution is down below the ground at the bottom of the world down here in a bedrock box, and I'm just doing a test for if this area of blocks up here matches this area of blocks down here. Really, really easy to program. You could also just spectate with yourself and see the solution like that. But that would be cheating. Final thing, which may be a tiny bit interesting, is if you break this, you'll see there is a gap up here. I should have shown this before I removed the barrier, but this has a repeating command block in it that displays that particle wall. And all this does is deletes that command block, which then makes the particle wall stop, because the command block is gone. And in here we have netherite chestplate, with slightly reduced stats from a typical netherite chestplate, I believe. But we have 3 armor resistance. Armor resistance. I cannot speak today. Armor. Knockback resistance! This has knockback resistance on it. And also your first melee attack, if you haven't attacked for 10 seconds, has extra attack damage on it. And a +3 at that. I'm not going to use that. Is the barrier too thick? No. But also, this is in a version where the boat glitching through walls bug has been fixed, so that ain't gonna work if that's what you're thinking of. But if they come up with another trick at some point to glitch through one wide walls, then yeah, that'll work. At least I think I made it 1 block thick. I don't recall. I'm gonna go up and get my other casino chips, and I can talk more about how the casino actually works. There is a line in the looping function file that increments a counter every tick. When it gets to 21, it immediately loops back to 0, so your counter can be anywhere between 0 and 20 at any given point. Depending on what number said counter is on, when the redstone circuit down at the bottom triggers, aka which 20th of a second you push the button on, you get that corresponding piece of loot. So it isn't 1/20th, is it? Because it loops between 0 and 20, and not 1 and 20. And I realised that very, very quickly when I was actually making that system. And yes, I put the lime wall in here. And maybe the more sensible thing to do would just be to fix that and make it loop between 0 and 19, or 1 and 20, but I decided not to do either of those things, and I just added a 21st chest that gives you a casino chip straight back again, along with a couple of upgrade fragments and some bits of food. If you roll that, you don't get a remnant of fortune from it, but you're going to get one from the casino chip that you get straight back, so we'll see if that actually happens. It's fairly likely that it will. It's of course also very, very possible to get duplicates out of this system. Let's throw potions in here. Do I have any instant health 2s? No. I do have this, though. Which is an instant health 3. But then you also get poison for a bunch of time. So this is very nice in a real dire emergency situation, but then you'd better go and cry box or something immediately afterwards. That I'm going to throw in there. I'm going to pick up some more arrows. Now I'm no longer using the infinity bow. That can go away. I'm going to turn all of this into soup. Keep one of it. Out with these out of here. Final thing about the casino, I guess. Well, another thing is that KBT found out a very clever way to abuse the system. If you watched the speedrun, you'll know what I mean. You can go in from the top, from underneath the box, by using the kind of bed glitch up trick. And then do it again to get out of that room, or just set your spawn somewhere out of that room and just die within the dev room. And by doing that, and by manipulating the redstone clock system that generates the casino loot, you can duplicate pretty much anything you want. Which includes pretty much any of the loot from the map, because it's all stored in that room. Though not elytra. Must have come from somewhere else. If you've seen the speedrun, you'll know why I said that. There was an elytra area later, but it's just a regular old unbreakable elytra with nothing else special in it, so it didn't end up in that dev room. So not really a piece of custom loot. Right. We have 4 of these. Let's see what we get. We get the fact that I need to hold it in my hand. Yes, I know how my own system works. Ooh, got the pick. A few of these items are intended for map that I have yet to complete nor release. And said map is kind of supposed to be a spiritual successor to Depths of Duality, which is a 2-player only map, hence why a bunch of these items in here explicitly have effects that call out the wielder and other players! Hey look, it affects other players! Hey look, this is more useful if you're playing it in multiplayer. There's a few like that. That ain't one of them. Have to get all different things. Ooh, this is a nice find. Right, what did we get? We got that first. When breaking a spawner, the wielder and all other players within 15 blocks gain 3 seconds of regen 2. It's basically a sapper pickaxe, but this map doesn't have Kato in it. It only has item builder, so it's the sapper pickaxe, but in item builder. It's good. A good item. Doesn't really synergize with anything, it's just on its own a decent item. And then we have this, when in the offhand eating food grants 10 seconds of absorption 1. Rondar Ramsey's Guide to Cooking. It also just has +1 attack damage. Again, this is very good. I happen to get some good items from that RNG. This, I think, is probably one of the worst ones, though. Smite 1, Sweeping Edge 2, Unbreaking 2. If you kill a zombie with it, all other zombies within 20 blocks are inflicted with 5 seconds of Wither 2. It's an alright effect, but it only impacts one specific mob, and it has to be in a group of them. So, it's good, but very much situationally good. And then we have this. This is one of the best ones. It's mending, so it ain't gonna break. It has less armor than most chest plates. Like this really basic tier 1 chest plate gives me +3. This only has +2 armor. But wooden weapons deal +2 attack damage and have a 20% chance to lose no durability on use. That's really good. That means just my basic unbreakable sword is now 7 attack damage between that and that. Which is extremely nice. It's very, very possible to get really good synergies of attack damage pluses in this map. Drink the water. Because if I bought the plus attack damage helmet, I would have even more again. But with the drawback of having basically no armor. But is that even a thing I need when I kill mobs really, really quickly? So I could do that, and then I'd have 7 plus 30% again. Which is 9, pretty much. I'm already using plus 20%. Let's do it. Everybody else that plays the map does. There. Use that as well for now. Should probably unpack all the random loot. Ooh, sharpness 1 stone sword. That's not bad, but I need wooden weapons for this. Also got a tiny bit of iron. Small leather. Food. Ugh, unbreaking 1 wooden sword. Pretty useless when I already have an unbreakable one. I could buy some armor, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna find more armor in the next area anyway. Let's just move on. Wrong way. Well, is it? Gotta go down here, and then back here, and then Area 7 connects directly to Area 3. I already explained the gimmick about this when I covered Area 3. But it's kind of like a race for all, where we have this section, and then we have Area 7, and they're mirrors of one another. So if you flipped this round 180 degrees, and you flip that round 180 degrees, it would be a bit like a race for the wall style map with the 2 lanes. I got a really good view of that from here. The objective is way up there, but there's also some barrier blocks, which mean I can't just block my way up there. I cannot cheese. Hello, house places. Deny. blaze powder. Aha! Your bow is gone. I don't remember who originally pointed this out to me, but somebody pointed out that I do not have to make these guys actually have flame bows, with the skeletons shoot flame arrows by default. I did not need to put flame on their bows, but I did. Whoop. You're blending into the floor. Stop that. Yep, there's some armor. No armor, but speed and max health. My boots are apparently giving me 0 armor. Alright, because I have the -3 from the helmet. Makes sense. We have 2 box of oddities back here, because this is a mirror of Area 3, and in this exact spot in Area 3 is the gal, who sells the box of oddities. So in your mirror world, it makes sense for these to be here as well. Did we get anything particularly lovely? Or food? We got the hot cross bun. Oh, we got sponge. Nothing great though. Nothing really worth taking. There is a low chance of actually getting something decent from those. It is a totem of undying. That's one of the random items that you could get from the miscellaneous items slot in those chests. There's so much other worthless junk in there that the chance of that actually being rolled is pretty low. Arguably not worth. You could also spend your tier 2 upgrade things on buying casino chips. Lasers do some damage when you have no armor. Gonna make all of these a lot less threatening. Not so tough with your bows removed, now are you? Loads of random loot. Climb the hill. Break the spawner. Get a little bit of healing from it. Well, that didn't go too great. Retreat! Advance! Pretty much just one-shot them. Gone totally glass cannon with my build. A couple of different directions to go in here. This one goes off to the side loot. Toby's as well. More speed, more max health. One. Easily kill all of those. And casino chip. Yoink. Oh, don't fall into the lava. Would be bad. Drop down. Down here. And across the thin chain. Some little lava indents into the walls, which is one of my favourite decorative tricks. And that spawned an unfortunately large number of blazes. Still, they don't have as much health. Spawner up there in a difficult spot. See, it drops stuff all the way on my head from all the way down here. Let's use this. Yeah, spawner's going to be spinning all the time as I make my way up this hill. Get that. Another big barrage of blazes. Go. That. More random loot. That is a very nice potion. Just another one of those areas with the loot randomly generated decoratively, and then the actual good things manually added. Bow drop. And it's got a lot of durability on it as well. Flame bow really isn't better than the very cool bow-removing bow that I'm already using. But it's a thing. Would be more useful if anvils were in this map and I could put that flame onto something good. Oh well. Casual flame bow now. Back the way from whence I came. Nice. Got a lot more random loot again. Stuff just accumulates very, very quickly. You need a lot of chests to just throw it all in. It's armor. It should really be in here with the rest of the armor. As much as I like the extra attack damage, kind of would really actually have some nice armor. Which is a thing that I can most definitely do. Let's grab an extra one of those. And I'm gonna spend some of these on getting this set of armor. And I don't really want either of those. Do I have a good helmet that does something else? Speed and max health? Yes, I'll use that. It's still not much armor, but it's not nothing anymore. Throw this in here. Throw a flame bow. Lots of torches still. Potion. More potions. What have we got in here? Stuff. Efficiency 1 stone pick. That's pretty good. Couple of sharpness 1 stone swords. Bit more iron. Torches. Loads of blocks. Okay, we got some decent stuff. Yeah, not that much iron yet. Going down, see if we get anything cool from the casino. And then we'll be on to area number 8. Cool. Duplicate! Oh well. It's a good thing to duplicate. It's one of the better ones. I don't mind having a spare of it. It's to go here. And I'm sure I'll stumble across an ender chest on my way. There's quite a few of them in the map. We'll run into one eventually. Area number 8 is the Bleached Castle, which is over there. It's an area built entirely from white blocks. It kind of matches some of the theme of some of the structures in this area. It's doing the whole square indents in the wall. You've got these little borders, which is a pretty common decorative thing that I tend to do a bit. And it has a lot of skeletons in it, in general. Some of the same mobs from the previous area. Slowness arrows. Slowness 4. It's a good slowness arrows. That there. More potions. Some resistance 5 potions. Temporary invincibility for as long as you're in their radius. For you and any mobs that happen to stumble into that cloud. Just run around a little bit and break some spawners. I think I almost got drop creepered back then. Aha! Helmet. Brace helmet, which means you get more armor if you've been recently hit. 1 armor, 1 knockback resist goes up to 3 armor if you've been hit within the last 3 seconds. So, more effective if you're taking damage from an enemy that does lots and lots of damage repeatedly, like skeletons. If you tend to a pincushion, it's not the armor set for you. There is also the buckle armor, which appears a bit later on in the map, which is the opposite. Has more armor than average, but if you've been hit recently, then you get less. And I used the emergency potion, so now I have to suffer through this poison for a little bit. Move things badly around the inventory. Couple of bows. Here is the level 2 Shattering Axe. There are more of these that appear a bit later. They're very, very useful for dealing with some of the mobs that appear in the final area, so I give some out in the penultimate area. Race leggings. This is the way I came from. How did you end up in this room, Creeper? Can't complain. They're actually very useful in thinning out the horde a little. So we have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 spawners. Eh. Not sure how that creeper got there. We're a fair distance away from any creeper spawners. Climbed all the way up and down here. Ah. Tier 3 upgrade fragments. I think that's the first one we've come across. Can be spent either buying tier 3 equipment or traded for a casino chip. Lots of potions. Let's actually use the shulker box. I'm carrying it around. Might as well actually put some things in it. Potion, 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 potion. There we go. Race chest plates. Here's the penultimate area. Just gonna grab these out of here. Don't need any of this other stuff. This is the previous April Fool's map from last year. It's the bridge area. Previously the bridge map, now copy-pasted. Minus the end section of the bridge. It's a little bit shorter. Not by very much at all, but a little bit. And it has exactly the same mobs, but all the chests are different. We have... a deliberate terrain choice there. That final stair is missing, so that the mobs cannot actually follow you back up onto this platform unless you give them away. So you have a safe spot here to retreat to, and you do not have to undertake ladder combat. This little section of cliff over here is also slightly altered from its natural brushy state. With that in mind, so the mobs can't just drop down here and then climb up onto that. They cannot pathfind around, so they get stuck down here. So the player might also get stuck down here if they don't realise that this bottom step is missing. More potions. Map does have a lot of potions. Interesting little facet of this bow is that it makes it possible for mobs to end up fighting each other and both being melee mobs, which doesn't usually happen. Typically mobs only end up fighting each other if at least one of them has a ranged attack that can accidentally hit another mob. But with the bow that removes bows, you can have mobs start fighting each other when one of them has a ranged weapon, and then end up fighting each other when they both don't. And I think that's fun. Another one of those easy draw bows. We had one of way back in Area 2. But now this one is much easier to get to. Just out in the open. We have some mobs fighting each other again. Suddenly, absorption. End up helping you block the spawner, but never mind. Well, I think of it. Something that you may have noticed if you read. Is that all of the throwable potions in the map, which grant you defensive buffs, have names based off of mythical locations. We have Elysium, we have El Dorado, which may or may not have been a real place, and we have Shangri-La. There's, again, not really any reason why I did that. It just seemed cool to have them all hit a theme and stick with it. Have a shortcut here. Because when Contemplate tested the map, he ended up running up and down this bit of cliff several times. So I decided to actually just make a proper path here, with stairs, so you don't need to jump as much. It goes up and down. It's not the most useful shortcut in the world, though. Because there's a teleporter up there as well, but there's also a second shortcut, which I forgot to open up when I was lower down, but I know exactly where it leads to, so I can just open it from this side. Which is here. And this leads us straight back out to the penultimate area, and again, tunnel added after the beta test. And between this shortcut and the other shortcut, there's now a very nice, easy path for you to take, without jumping very much at all, that gets us straight from up there, where the teleporter is, to back down there, and that final two areas. So there we have that. Here we have intersection 1. It's the only intersection. Gotta teleport back to the monument. It drops us straight in the elevator. So we end up here. And we're halfway done. I'm going to have this teleporter, which takes us back to the intersection, and that pressure plate now works. Don't have as much random loot from that. I think I also lost out on some random loot because I tried opening the medium when I had a full inventory. But never mind. It's also full of stuff. Yeah, chain. Chain. Open that. Stuff, things, and stuff. And stuff and things. Stuff. Things, and stuff. Too many things. Too much stuff. You do end up with a lot of things. How long did I take to make this map? I started on, I don't remember the exact date, but it was sometime about halfway through January. And obviously the map released on April the 1st, so... 2 and a bit months. But also bear in mind that that's 2 and a bit months where I am streaming every weekday and thus not working on the map, and I only really worked on this on weekends. So, not only is that only 2 and a bit months, but it's 2 and a bit months of weekends only. So, not long is the answer. I wonder, if I open up statistics, what's the playtime on this going to reflect? Yeah. Not the time that I spent building it. It's not meant to be good quality. It's minimum effort. It's supposed to be decent. But not necessarily good. Though I didn't set out to make it bad either. Drop down ladder. I am gonna trade this for that. Could have bought a nice tier 3 piece of armor with it, but I'd rather spend it on the casino and hope that I get something even better. And also work my way towards one of the secondary objective blocks while I'm at it. It has been pointed out to me that one could also just kill some of the pillagers that appear later in this map a bunch of times, get emeralds that way, and make the emerald block like that, but I didn't think of that. Otherwise I would have removed the emerald block recipe. But I didn't, so that is indeed an option. Though not an intended option. Okay, we're up to sits. I should really put that away because I'm already wearing one. When in offhand, whenever you take 3 or more damage in a single hit, gain 3 seconds of regen 2, healing 2 HP. Basically, if you get hit with a lot of high damage attacks a lot of the time, then this is a nice thing to have. But if you're only taking little itty-bitty bits of damage at once that deal like 1 heart or less, then it's pretty useless. Is it better than having +1 attack damage and an absorption barrier whenever I eat food? They're both decent options. There's a lot of decent offhands in the map. other things at this intersection. It gets explained to you here that you can craft chain armor out of chains. You can also make chains more cheaply. The usual chain recipe is iron nugget, iron ingot, iron nugget, but I've changed it so you only need 2 iron nuggets. It's a lot cheaper to make a chain. And then you can turn your chains into chainmail boots, for example. There's also why this isn't fully made out of chains. I did have it like that originally, and then I realised, I don't want to give out a bunch of chains here. But if you come back to the monument, you'll see that, in fact, there are chains everywhere. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. Again, this is something that I didn't realise until I had actually released the map that you could do. It's kind of a knowledge checkpoint, I suppose, because for some reason the crafting recipes do not tell you that this is a thing that you can do. If I type chain into here, it just has chain, and doesn't tell you about any of the chain armor. Why, I do not know. Probably because it doesn't have a recipe in the vanilla game, and therefore it's not in the recipe book at all, even with its modified recipes. But you could, technically, right from the beginning of the map, make yourself a full set of chain armor pretty much instantaneously with all of these chains. The more you know. And the other thing is in the opposite corner, where we have a guy who sells a bunch of arrows. Because, again, beta test that comp did, he ended up with a lot of the tier 1 upgrade shards left over. You can use 4 of them in 4 tier 2s, and get more casino chips, but tier 1s drop a lot more than the tier 2s. The tier 1s are going to be not your limiting factor, the tier 2s are going to be your limiting factor. If you want to spend any of your remaining leftover tier 1s, you can do that here and upgrade arrows into slightly more useful arrows with effects like poison and weakness and slowness. Oh, there are cats in the map. I don't believe there are. Well, no. There are cats in the box of oddities. In that pet loot table, where you get either a cat spawn egg, a wolf spawn egg, horse, rabbit, creeper. You can get cats from that. Speaking of cats, Area 9. Oh, the misery. Named before I had playtested the area. However, I knew what the area was going to play like, and this is very much an apt name. We have lots of gravity blocks. We have lots of creepers. What could possibly go wrong? I'll tell you, if you play your cards wrong, then most of these bridges are gonna be gone. Woo. Now, as well as the gravel and the concrete powder, there is andesite mixed into this block var. Therefore, if you do end up blowing up one of these bridges and the whole thing falls away, you are going to have andesite that you can bridge from one to another or start platforming off of. So your bridges are not completely gone. if something happens to blow up. Speaking of which, remote detonator. Creepers hit with arrows from this boat instantly explode. A very risky bow to use. I'm gonna swap out to this, especially for this area. Blast Prot 2 is very helpful. I ended up wiping twice when I tested this area myself the first time. Fooled around too much with the lava and these creepers. And it all went a little bit wrong. So yes, I do not want to shoot those creepers with this bow while I'm walking on these bridges. And that is a very bad idea. The Phantom Creepers! I mentioned earlier, when we saw the mobs riding endermites, that there are other mobs in the map that disappear when they get close to the player. These phantoms are that. So, if I actually manage to get one of these to see me... Come on, folks. Come on. Come on! Stop just flying around over there. Oh, I don't know. There we go. You see, it dies when it gets close to me. Which would be all well and good if it was just a phantom, but this is a phantom being ridden by a creeper. So, it gets close to you, the phantom dies, and suddenly there's a creeper straight in your face that isn't going to go away. This, as you may have guessed, is not a good thing. It's not as bad as the MHC creepers riding phantoms that I summon in when I want to kill other players, because they do not instantly explode. And I really should not have done that, and I was extremely lucky that that didn't break any of this bridge. Yes, these are still things that I very much want to pay attention to, and I do not want these creepers to end up directly in front of me from the middle of nowhere. These blazes may also end up destroying the platforms, or blowing up some of the TNT that's scattered around. Something else I would like to try and avoid. Whoa! And really the sensible thing to do at this point would be to leave the area. But I feel like I should explore everything. It's not worth it. The gear in this area is not worth it for how dangerous it is, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I did also pick up this. The Industrial Strength Glue with Swift Sneak 1 plus 10% knockback resist. Your bongos are binted when you bogo the boomstick. What does it mean? Well, it doesn't mean anything. It's a line that Pear said in the Discord as an example of something KVT might put as an item description. And when I saw it, I knew I had to put it as an item description. But it doesn't do anything. Though it does have plus 10 knockback resist, which is situationally very useful. one of the bridges gets blown up and you end up platforming across the remaining andesite blocks, you might appreciate that knockback resist. There's the fumes of Shangri-La. It's a very nice potion. It's not gonna bother trying to get to some of these spawners. It's not worth it. I've been surprisingly unbothered by the phantom creepers in this area. But this isn't the only area they're in. So I'm sure I'll have plenty more opportunities to be bothered by them later. This is one of the only areas, I think the only area in the map. Hello. The only area in the map where I've put things in invisible item flames and dropped loot all over the ground. Did they change phantom behavior in 1.19.4? So I opened this map in 1.19.4 and not 1.19.3, and I thought that wouldn't make any difference. But these phantoms are behaving extremely strangely. So I think their behavior has changed from 1.19.3 to 1.19.4. That's weird. Do they only attack you at nighttime now? Curious. Well, I guess definitely play this map in the sub-version that it was made on, and not 1.19.4. Because these appear to be broken. Huh! I wonder what changed. Piece of the hazard suit. Guess I'll use the leggings as well. Yeah, I should have been dive bombed about a dozen more times by this point. This is very strange. I'm gonna have to look that up and see what about their behavior changed. Might even be worth loading up a new copy of the map and continuing on in 1.19.3. So there's a couple more areas that use phantoms. And I would really appreciate them all not being broken by an apparent minor version change. Anyway. There's the blue wool. I really should have grabbed some of those chests along the way. We have wood wood somewhere. We must. Yes. Convert that all into more chests. Armor, armor, armor. I want to keep one of the remote detonators around. They are extremely situationally useful. Or extremely useful situationally. Got 8 of those. Yeah. More wood to replace the wood I just spent. Why does this have potions in it? I'm using this box for potions now. That box can contain something completely different. Like, blocks. Brick. We have a lot of brick. Getting brick from the random loops. A lot of brick. And then that's... that. All of this stuff is scattered everywhere. More food. I do not need the glue. I'm going to see what else I can get from the casino, and then I think I'm going to end. I've got 3 casino rolls here. See if we pick any different items up, or whether we just get more duplicates. Hopefully we get at least 2 more new things from 3 rolls. Be pretty unlucky otherwise. Roll number 1. It's another offhand. When in the offhand, the wielder and all entities within 15 blocks gain 5 seconds of resistance 1 after taking damage. Is this good? Probably not great. All entities include mobs. All of the mobs. Whenever you damage a mob, it has 5 seconds of resistance 1. That's probably not something you want. Unless there are loads of mobs around and you can alternate damaging them all with 5-second gap between hitting different mobs. Maybe it's worth it for you if you're in a very, very large group of players. But otherwise... yeah. Unbreaking 3. But it has +3 armor, which is more than boots usually have. And for every other piece of gold on armor equipped, you gain an additional +1, which means this goes all the way up to +6 armor if you're wearing full gold. This is going to be very handy later, when we actually end up getting more gold armor. There's a lot of gold armor in the vast, and we rolled the roll where the counter ended up on a 0. And so we just got some food, some upgrade fragments, and our chip refunded directly back to put into the machine again. And the same thing happened twice! Fantastic. And then we got a duplicate Jewel of Unbiased Protection. Nah. It's really not one of the best items. I certainly do not need 2 of them. Oh well. We got good RNG on our first 4 rolls. And I'm straight back to 3 tier 2s again. No wait, I have 4 tier 2s because I rolled that twice. Well, I can go straight back and buy another casino chip then. There and back again. Dump these. And those. Surprise roll number 4. Ah. That's a little bit better. And a more immediately useful than the golden shoes. It's not one of the greatest items in the casino, but it's good. Unbreaking 5. Plus 0.5 armor, which is less than usual boots, but it's got plus 5% speed, and when equipped, movement speed when not sprinting is increased by 25%. Add that to the plus 5 that it just has by default, and that means that your walking speed, this is walking, and your sprinting speed, this is sprinting, are virtually equivalent. If I start walking and I start jumping, though, you can very much tell the difference, because whenever I'm not on the ground, I lose that speed. And the screen zooms in and out a bunch. So if you're doing a lot of moving around, it's probably better to sprint, because you don't get that speed difference. But if you're just moving around, or you're drawing a bow and trying to strafe around, you're just moving side to side, strafing, backing away from mobs during combat. I'm doing all of that, and I'm moving at sprinting speed. That's pretty cool, if I do say so myself. And that is all the time that which I have. I might move a bunch of stuff over and reopen a new copy of the map in 1.19.3 to stop that weird phantom behaviour. Because the wilderness also has a bunch of phantoms, and then there's the Elytra area, which also has a bunch of phantoms. And then there's the final area that also has a bunch of phantoms, and that's all going to behave very strange if the phantoms don't actually chase me. But for now, that's all the time that which I have. Thank you very much for watching. Hope that you enjoyed. Stay safe until next time. I shall see you soon.